Today I thought I would try and outdo the RS3 with these flashy pants. Let's see how they do against Audi's little rocket of a sports sedan. The Audi RS3, the weeest of Audi sports sedans, gets powered by a turbocharged 2.5-liter inline 5-cylinder engine that sounds as good as it pulls. It's intercooled with direct fuel injection, and both the block and the head are aluminum, so you're getting some nice weight savings. That means that your 3,600-pound four-door car makes 401 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque that comes on full at 3,500 RPM. That is a really nice low number that gets that full-on grunt nice and early on in the acceleration process, and whoo, accelerate you do. Ooh. The one word I might use for this car is eager. The other word I might use is overachiever. Yeah, that is 2 words, but they're both appropriate words. At tip-in, the throttle delivers, and the turbocharger wastes no time spooling up and whooshing. Acceleration feels as close to immediate as a naturally aspirated car as far as I'm concerned. I love this engine. It pulls hard. It wants to just keep going and going and going. I actually drive a car with a somewhat related naturally aspirated 2.5-liter 5 in my Jetta wagon, and I adore it. And no, I'm not likely to add a turbo anytime soon, but oh, this is so tempting. Managing all of that power around is a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission that I kind of have a little bit of mixed feelings about. I like the way that the gear ratios are distributed. I think that it's programmed really nicely. You definitely feel a difference when you're driving in comfort mode versus dynamic mode. There's definitely a difference in the shift gear ratios. The one thing I will say is you're not going to find smooth shifts in this car like you do in another luxury vehicle, and that's totally fine because this is a performance car and I do expect it to kind of be a little bit more aggressive. It definitely feels like you are making that shift manually. So I think it's kind of appropriate in this setup. More often than not, I feel like in dynamic mode, the transmission is pretty intuitive when it comes to gear selection, and it downshifts even when some other sports sedans might be a little more conservative. But there are times when it might not go far enough if you're really getting into it and pushing the car. There are paddles for when you want to do the shifting yourself, and I think that if you are not going to offer a manual transmission in a car like this, then this is a pretty close to perfect alternative. Let's talk about those different drive modes for a quick second, because that's another area where I think Audi engineers have really outdone themselves. I could drive this anywhere all day in comfort mode. I feel like it's very comfortable, it's very livable. When you switch it into dynamic mode, everything, I mean, it's markedly different. The throttle response is much more immediate. The dampers kind of bear down a little bit more. The chassis stiffens. The steering response is quicker. I really love it when you can really feel a difference in distinct modes, and Audi nails it. And when you're driving it, it feels like it's waiting for you to do more, especially when you're on a twisty road bonanza. Laterally, this car feels solid and full of grip. If on the list of must-haves in your new car you have included having a ton of fun carving up canyon roads like a boss, then the RS3 should be close, if not at the top of that list. Making a lot of that magic happen is a torque splitter, which is really pretty genius when it comes to moving all of the power around where it's needed. Don't forget, this is a quattro, so this gets power at all 4 corners, but when you're driving in comfort mode, it really pushes things toward the front wheels. When you drive in dynamic mode, that's going to push everything a little bit further toward the rear axle, just so you are more agile, a little bit more stable, and able to have a lot more fun when you're carving up the canyons. Specifically, when you're in turns, it shifts max torque either to the outside wheels so you don't understeer, or if you're in the right setting, meaning on a closed road, which I am not, you're able to do controlled drifts and enter oversteer heaven. This system can switch back and forth, reading your driving and where exactly the car is in a turn so quickly that in auto mode, Audi's virtually eliminated oversteer and understeer. Unless, of course,
you're after that drift. If you're feeling really adventurous, you can put it into one of the RS modes, either RS Individual, RS Performance, or RS Rear Torque. These shut off traction and stability control and change different components of the chassis, powertrain, and suspension for track scenarios. Sadly, I am not on one of those.
Suffice to say, you're going to have fun driving this car, whether you're in comfort mode and you're driving on the highway, or you're in dynamic mode and you're busting the canyons on a Sunday morning. Listen, I was really a huge fan of the Audi TT, specifically the TT RS, and there were a lot of the same bits in this car that there were in that car. But I have to tell you, because of the slightly longer wheelbase in the RS3, I feel like this might be an even more perfect application for all of that incredible engineering. So, I can't really complain.
Taking a break from driving for a second, let's chill out inside and talk about the interior.
There are some wow moments in here, and then some things that I might do a little bit differently. Overall, when it comes to the design, interiors on Audis are always a strong yes for me. One thing on this one, this green might be a little bit too much. This actually comes on the RS design package, although I will say I might be kind of getting used to it, which means I just need probably another 4 or 5 weeks in this car, so that's all. But otherwise, as far as how I'm sitting, everything is oriented here, very cockpit style toward the driver. I like how this is integrated into the dash, and all of the buttons here feel very intuitively placed, and I kind of like just in general where everything is.
Materials in here feel luxe. The stitching, carbon accents, and leather all add to the RS3's appeal. The seats feel a bit wide for me, but I am a tiny person. So for someone larger, which is very likely every other driver, they'll be fine.
When it comes to interior space, because of its diminutive size and because of my diminutive size, it's really not a problem for me at all, especially when it's me sitting behind me. That's fantastic. But this, more stuff in here than anyone could possibly imagine. Sitting behind Mike Danger's optimal seat, oh man, this might be a heck no for most people, even me.
A couple of things that I'm not crazy about. The MMI system in the Audi is not rock solid. It took me a couple of times to try and get the wireless Apple CarPlay to stay connected to my phone, and even then it wouldn't reliably connect consistently, and operations can be a little bit delayed. The processor is not as lightning quick as this little car is.
The volume dial takes a bit of getting used to. You kind of swirl it around with your finger like that. So unusual but different. But I do like all of the steering wheel buttons. They're really easy to operate. Handy.
And one other thing that I really appreciate, especially when I'm driving quickly, is the oversized blind spot warning alerts. Those are the Audi Side Assist with rear cross traffic alerts feature and will cost you $350, but to me, totally worth that.
After a while in other cars, I really just kind of stopped seeing that little itty bitty triangle in the side mirror. And so I really do appreciate this very large, amber, which is kind of as loud as my pants. Because, when I'm on the freeway and I want to get to the Dairy Queen and it's about to close, I don't know, maybe I'm doing a little bobbing and weaving through traffic.
Interior goodies, some of which are options, include a head-up display, Virtual Cockpit Plus that allows drivers to track torque and power numbers on a 12.3-inch gauge display. You can rock out to a Bang & Olufsen sound system, or you can just listen to that glorious 5-cylinder engine noise. My rock star guitarist friend Misha explained why a 5 or 10-cylinder engine sounds so good. It's because they make a major third an octave apart, which is an harmonically pleasing sound with more richness and character than a 6 or 12-cylinder, and especially a 4 or 8-cylinder, which are only an octave apart.
Incidentally, 6 and 12-cylinder engines make a perfect fifth, which is the same interval as a power guitar chord. So, I think that should cue up some Killer Micah Museo music.
Subscribe to the KBB YouTube channel and get all of those sick beats. The RS3 comes with a great portfolio of safety features, including adaptive cruise control with lane guidance. You know what, I'll admit I was having so much fun driving this, I didn't even try that out, but I like it in other Audis, so I'm sure it's just as good here. You also get parking assist, front collision warnings, and lane departure warnings, just to name a few. Pricing on the base RS3 starts at $60,900. For your money, you'll get 19-inch wheels that look sick, LED headlights, red brake calipers, and gloss black accents. Add the RS technology package and you get that head-up display, Audi's navigation, and that upgraded sound system. With the RS design package, you'll get the green interior details, floor mats with custom stitching, and some high gloss black interior trim, but that's just an appearance package.
If you spring for the dynamic package, it'll be $5,500, but you'll get ceramic front brakes, you will get a carbon engine cover, and you'll get a bump on that top speed to 180 miles an hour. Vroom!
There are other packages that you can add on to, say, upgrade tires to Pirelli P0 Trofeo Rs for only $450. I would do that one, totally. And you add $1,000 for a sport exhaust to make your 5-cylinder sound even sweeter. I would do that one too. You can also get a carbon package as well for $2,750.
I went to AudiUSA.com and spec'd one out with a Python yellow paint, every package imaginable, and it came out to $75,800. This one that I'm driving, similarly spec'd, comes out to $74,900. Guys, this is not a joke. If I had even close to that much money just hanging out on my Apple Pay, I would very seriously consider getting this car.
Other cars you could use that cash on include the BMW M2 or M3, the Porsche 718 Cayman, the Cadillac CT4V Blackwing, the Alfa Romeo Giulia Q4, and the Mercedes AMG CLA 45. Oh my gosh, what a list of delights.
Gas mileage numbers are fairly decent. You get 20 in the city, 29 in the highway. It's about what I would expect here.
All that, and it gets 8 cubic feet of cargo space in the trunk as well. Not too chintzy.
If, like me, you are desperate to buy the RS3, you're in luck. You can click the link above, and Kelley Blue Book will give you an instant cash offer on your car. However, if your 5th generation Accord isn't quite gonna cover it, sorry, but Kelley Blue Book will not give you money for like an old baseball card collection, some cans you got lying around, or even a funky old engagement ring that you never used.
When it comes to the outside, if it weren't for this Kyalami green and the red brake calipers, you'd think this was just another super chill sedan. So if you're more understated like me, you can go for a silver or black, or Audi will let you get yours in a Python yellow metallic, or turbo blue, or tango red metallic. Yellow for me, please, Audi.
Supremely dynamic, but still functional. It gets classic European sedan styling, but a fierce powertrain. The Audi RS3 is a dynamo to be reckoned with. And no, not even these crazy orange pants can outdo it. Listen, if you're getting one, if you have one, please gush about it in the comments just so I can be insanely jealous.